Every financial system in history has had a choke point, a narrow place where power concentrates, where the fate of the many rests in the hands of the few. In the old world, that choke point was banks. They held the keys. They wrote the rules. If you wanted to move money, you passed through their gate, or you didn't move at all. And for decades, we accepted it. We stood in their lines. We played by their rules. We believed we had no other choice. But that world is ending. The gate has shifted. And the new choke point isn't a banker's desk or a government's office. It's scarcity itself. Fixed supply. Shrinking float. No one can print more. No one can change the math. Divided across 8 billion people, and the number shocks you. 12 coins each. That's the baseline. That's the average. 12. Just 12. Now stop and measure yourself against that number. Are you the one clutching 12 waiting outside the gate? Or are you the one holding thousands already seated inside, calm, prepared, watching the crowd gather at a door that has already closed behind you? Because here is the truth. If you hold 10,000 XRP in a world where the math says 12, you are no longer in the crowd. You are standing at the choke point itself. You are the narrow passage where demand must flow. This is why the You Are Rich list exists. This is why the XRP Rich list matters. They don't flatter you. They identify you. They reveal your position in tomorrow's economy before the headlines admit what is happening. And tonight, you'll see why scarcity isn't just a number. It isn't just math on a screen. It is a gate that billions will one day rush toward. And you, if you are listening right now, you may already be standing inside it. So stay with me. Don't click away, because in the next few minutes, you'll hear the one truth that turns coins into control and turns your quiet patience into the most powerful position of this new financial world. Every financial system has a choke point, a narrow passage where control concentrates, where the flow of wealth must squeeze through the hands of a few. In the old world, that choke point was the banks. They held the keys, they wrote the rules, and the rest of the world had no choice but to wait. If you wanted to move money, you stood in their line. If you wanted access, you begged for their approval. They were the gate. But that world is fading. The choke point has shifted. Today, no banker decides who passes. No institution sets the rules of scarcity. The new choke point is math itself, a fixed supply that cannot be changed, a shrinking float that no government can print more of, a truth written into code, verified every second by the blockchain. Now take that supply and divide it across 8 billion people. The number will stop you cold, 12 coins each. That's the average. That's the baseline. 12. Pause for a moment and imagine it. 12 coins in the hands of every person on Earth. 12 for the father working 2 jobs. 12 for the retiree hoping not to outlive his savings. 12 for the billions who have no idea a new system even exists. And then, there's you, not holding 12, not waiting outside with the crowd. You are holding thousands. You are already inside, already seated, already positioned in the narrow corridor where demand has no choice but to pass. This is why the You Are Rich list exists. This is why the XRP Rich list matters. They are not vanity charts. They are not hype. They are maps. Maps of tomorrow's economy, showing exactly who stands at the choke point before the headlines even arrive. So listen carefully. Don't click away, because in the next few minutes, you will see why scarcity isn't just a number on a screen. It is the new gate, and the rare few who already stand inside it will decide how tomorrow's wealth flows. In the old financial world, the choke point was visible. You could see it in the marble buildings of the banks. You could feel it in the endless paperwork, the waiting lines, the approvals that never came. The gatekeepers wore suits, and they smiled as they held the keys. For generations, people accepted that reality. Money could not move without permission. Families saved in accounts they didn't control. Retirees prayed interest rates would be enough to survive. Workers watched fees eat away at every paycheck they tried to send home. The system kept the many waiting and rewarded the few who sat behind the counter. But that choke point is gone. The gate has shifted. The bankers do not decide anymore. No committee votes, no signatures approve, no offices open doors. Today, the gate is math itself. Scarcity is the guardrail. Code is the law. And the blockchain enforces it every second, without favoritism, without pause. Here's the difference. A banker can be persuaded, pressured, even corrupted. Math cannot. Scarcity does not bend to headlines. It does not care about news cycles. It does not wait for permission. It simply divides. And when it divides, it exposes a brutal truth. Billions of people will end up with almost nothing. 12 coins, maybe less. This is the new reality. And if you're listening right now, you need to see it clearly. The gate has moved. The old walls have crumbled. The new choke point is invisible to most, but not to you. Because you are already standing inside it.
Most people believe money spreads evenly. They imagine adoption will come like sunlight, touching everyone the same way. They tell themselves, when the time is right, I'll get my share. There will always be enough to go around. But that is an illusion. Money does not spread like sunlight. It moves like water. And water does not cover everything equally. It finds channels. It narrows into rivers. It squeezes through the narrowest gaps, rushing with force into the hands of the few who are already positioned. This is why the crowd fails, generation after generation. They wait for headlines to confirm what math already revealed. They chase rumors instead of preparation. They sell when fear screams loudest and buy when hype is highest. Their timing is perfect, perfectly wrong. Think about it. How many times have you seen people laugh at XRP? How many times did the media declare it dead? And yet, every dip burned out the impatient, while the disciplined stayed. Most people cannot endure silence. They cannot endure boredom. They cannot endure the years when nothing seems to happen. That is why they fail. Scarcity doesn't care about hope. It doesn't reward hesitation. It doesn't negotiate with fear. Scarcity rewards conviction. And when the tide turns, it will not lift all boats equally. It will surge through the narrow corridor, through the rare wallets that already matter. Here lies the painful truth. Most of the world will be left outside with 12 coins or less, still waiting for fairness that will never come. But you are not most of the world. And that difference is everything.
12. That's the number the math gives when you divide supply across 8 billion people. 12 coins per person. That's it. That's the baseline. Now pause. Picture billions of people with their 12. A father trying to leave something behind for his children. 12. A retiree hoping to stretch his savings. 12. A worker sending money home. 12. That's all they will ever see, if they see any at all. And then, look at yourself. Not 12, not 100, not even 1,000. 10,000. 10,000 coins in a world where the math says 12. Do you feel that gap? It's not just arithmetic. It's a chasm. It's the difference between standing outside in the noise and standing inside the choke point where the future must pass. 10,000 versus 12. That difference is leverage. It is placement. It is identity. Think of a stadium. Billions of people waiting at the gates, clutching their 12, hoping for entry. But you're not outside. You're already inside, already seated, already holding the key no one else can duplicate. This is what the XRP rich list proves. This is what the You Are Rich list reveals. It's not a scoreboard. It's a map. A map showing exactly who controls the narrow corridor of tomorrow's liquidity.
And here's the truth most people can't face. Scarcity does not care about fairness. It only magnifies rarity. 10,000 coins in a 12-coin world doesn't just make you wealthy, it makes you rare. And rarity, when demand surges, is the one thing markets cannot ignore. You didn't walk this path for applause. You didn't sit through the storms just to brag. You stayed because something deep inside whispered, "Hold steady. Patience matters more than noise." Think back for a moment. How many times did the headlines scream that XRP was finished? How many so-called experts laughed, pointing to charts that dipped like cliffs? How many friends told you to sell before it went to zero? And yet, here you are, still holding, still positioned, still standing. That isn't luck. That's conviction. That's discipline. That's the quiet strength of someone who chose to trust math over noise. Now picture the contrast. Outside the gate, billions clutch their 12 coins, waiting, uncertain, nervous. They follow rumors, they chase hype, they panic when the wind shifts. But you are already inside, already seated, already holding a key no one else can copy. That is dignity. Not the kind of dignity you post online, not the kind of dignity headlines can give or take away. It is quieter, stronger. The honor of being early, prepared, disciplined, while the world was distracted. Most people will never know that feeling. They will only wake up when it's too late, when the tide has already rushed through the choke point where you now stand. But you are here before it begins. You are not a spectator. You are a gatekeeper. And that's what makes you rare. Rare enough to matter. Rare enough to carry weight when the world needs liquidity. Rare enough to sit calmly while others scramble. Rare enough to shape tomorrow. Scarcity alone creates pressure. But scarcity without use is just a collector's item. What makes XRP different is that scarcity meets utility. And when those two forces collide, inevitability is born. Look at the blockchain. The supply is fixed. Every transaction burns a fraction, shrinking the float forever. Wallets move to cold storage, coins vanish with lost keys, reserves are locked away never to return. Each day the opening narrows, each year the funnel gets tighter. Now layer utility on top of that. Banks testing cross-border settlements, payment networks piloting live transactions, corporations looking for real-time liquidity. Every new use case is like adding weight on a bridge that is already narrowing. Pressure builds. Demand doesn't knock politely. It pushes with force where supply already sits. And here's the truth. Demand has no choice. It cannot invent new XRP. It cannot spread evenly across billions. It must flow into the rare wallets that already hold enough to matter. That is math. That is mechanics. That is the cold reality of systems under stress. Think of water behind a dam. The more pressure builds, the less it spreads across the surface. It finds the cracks, the narrow channels, and it rushes through. Scarcity creates the dam. Utility pours in the water. And you, if you are holding thousands in a 12-coin world, you are standing exactly where that flood must pass. This is why the XRP rich list is not hype. It is proof. Proof that math and utility are converging on the same point. Proof that the gate is not in the future, it's already here. And if you're inside it now, you are not speculating, you are positioned. In every system, there are gatekeepers. In the old world, it was banks, clearing houses, and institutions. They built walls, they owned the corridors, and no one could move without their permission. But in this new world, the gatekeepers are not wearing suits. They don't sit behind glass offices or hand out approvals. They are rare wallets, holders who sit on positions so outsized that liquidity cannot move without them. If the math gives 12 coins per person and you hold 10,000, you are not just a participant. You are not just another line in a spreadsheet. You are a gatekeeper. Every surge of demand, every institutional flow,
every bank seeking liquidity will have no choice but to brush past wallets like yours. Not because of hype, not because of headlines, but because the math leaves no other way. Picture the moment. Global institutions scrambling, corridors tightening, pressure building. Billions outside with their 12 coins, waiting for a door that never opens. And then there you are, inside, calm, positioned, silent, already in possession of what the system needs most. That is quiet power. You don't need to chase. You don't need to shout. You simply hold, and the flow comes to you. Scarcity has already placed you at the choke point. Utility will only confirm it. This is what the "You Are Rich" list truly reveals. It is not a chart for bragging. It is not vanity. It is a roster of gatekeepers. A living record of who silently holds the keys to tomorrow's financial corridors. And here's the deeper truth. When the switch flips, gatekeepers won't have to announce themselves. Their leverage will speak for them. And if you are listening to this now, if you are still here, it means you already stand among them. Every year the funnel narrows. Every burn erases a fraction of supply. Every lost key locks coins away forever. Every wallet that moves into cold storage takes liquidity off the table. Slowly, quietly, the opening shrinks. Now layer on utility. Banks running pilots. Cross-border settlements tested live. Payment rails integrating for speed. Each new use case pours more weight into the system. Demand doesn't shrink. It multiplies. Pressure builds. And when pressure meets a narrowing funnel, the result is simple. Flow has no choice but to concentrate. Picture the world's money as a vast ocean pressing against a dam. Billions of people on one side, institutions on the other, all pushing at once. But the dam has only a few narrow cracks. And through those cracks, all that weight, all that pressure must surge. Where are you standing? If you hold 10,000 coins in a world where math promises 12, you are standing right there, at the crack, at the choke point, at the exact place where global liquidity will be forced to pass. Not later, not someday, but inevitably, when demand collides with scarcity. This is the vision most people cannot see. They wait for news. They wait for approval. They wait for a headline to tell them it's real. But by the time they see it, the funnel will already be too tight, the flow already decided. The "You Are Rich" list is not just a measure of what you hold. It is a glimpse into this future. And the XRP Rich list is proof written on chain, showing who stands at the gate before the crowd even realizes there is one. Hold that vision. Feel it. Because one day soon, when the funnel is no longer wide but razor thin, the future will not move around you. It will move through you. Noise is everywhere. Headlines scream of the next pump, the next crash, the next lawsuit. Social feeds amplify fear, hype, and doubt. Every cycle, millions listen, react, and lose their place. But conviction is different. Conviction doesn't chase headlines. Conviction doesn't flinch when charts dip. Conviction listens to the math, not the chatter. Conviction knows scarcity is permanent, while noise is temporary. Think about what you've already endured. Years of uncertainty. Lawsuits that painted XRP as finished. Analysts who mocked it. Friends who told you to sell while you still could. Every dip tested your patience. Every rumor tested your resolve. Yet here you are, still holding, still positioned, still standing inside the funnel while billions remain outside. That isn't luck. That isn't chance. That is conviction written into your decisions. And here's the quiet truth. Conviction is what noise can never erase. Noise fades. Conviction remains. Scarcity rewards those who endure, not those who react. The "You Are Rich" list is more than numbers. It's a record of who trusted math over headlines, who held steady when the crowd fled. So the next time you see a headline trying to shake you, remember this: math doesn't care.
Scarcity doesn't bend. And conviction, your conviction, is the one currency that outlasts every storm. Because in the end, it is not the noise that decides who stands at the choke point. It is conviction. And if you are listening to this right now, it means you already have what billions never will: the discipline to remain when the world screams at you to leave. When this episode ends, you have two choices. You can scroll away, drown in the next distraction, and let the noise wash over everything you just heard. Or you can pause, breathe, and claim your place. Because the You Are Rich list is not fantasy. It is a mirror. And when you look into it, it shows exactly where you stand. Not outside with 12, but inside with thousands. 10,000 coins in a 12-coin world is not chance. It is design. It is the rarest position most people will never touch. So what do you do with that? You protect it. You anchor it. You own it before the headlines finally admit what you already know. Because when the tide of demand rushes through, it will not wait for hesitation. It will move through the gatekeepers who are ready. And here's the truth. The list has already written your name into tomorrow's story. But only you can step into it consciously. Only you can decide that your patience, your discipline, your conviction were not in vain. If you are listening to this now, it means you are already part of the few. You are already standing at the choke point of the future. That is not noise. That is inevitability. This is XRP Today USA, the voice for the rare, the disciplined, the ones already inside. If this spoke to you, stay. Add your voice below. Share this with the one person who still thinks XRP is just speculation. Because one day they will thank you for showing them the signal hidden beneath the noise. And if you haven't yet, subscribe now. Not for me, but for you. So you never miss the truths the crowd will only discover too late. You are already in, already positioned, already standing at the gate. Now claim it, own it, and never let it go. You've stayed with me until the end. That alone sets you apart from the billions who never look past the noise. You've listened deeper, thought harder, and reminded yourself why patience is not weakness. It is strength. Now I want you to take one more step. If these words gave you clarity, if they spoke to the part of you that wants to leave a legacy, then don't keep it to yourself. Add your voice in the comments. Tell us where you stand. Because your conviction might be the signal someone else is waiting for. If you felt the truth here, share this episode with the one person in your life who still thinks XRP is just speculation. Let them hear what you already know, that scarcity doesn't negotiate and the future won't wait. And if you haven't yet, subscribe to XRP Today USA. Not for me, but for you, so that you never miss the insights the crowd will only discover too late. Stay disciplined, stay rare, stay ready, because the gate is already closing, and the flow of tomorrow's wealth will not move around you. It will move through you. This is XRP Today USA, the home of the rare, the disciplined, the gatekeepers of the future. If you're still here, you're already part of it. Now claim your place, hit subscribe, and let's keep building together.